Dr. Arnold O. Beckman understood from an early stage in his career that while individual experiments and scientific discoveries can have great value, building the tools that enable those efforts could have even more widespread effect. Dr. Beckman said, "I have done more for science in general by making instruments available for thousands to use than what I could do in the laboratory by myself." This sentiment resonated with me when I first saw the opportunity to become an Arnold O. Beckman Postdoctoral Fellow in Chemical Instrumentation. I also believe that new tools and instruments in the laboratory are what fundamentally drive innovative research. Dr. Beckman also once said, "Only by taking risks do you make progress." The development of new instrumentation is often viewed as a risky endeavor, but without new tools to generate new information and perspectives on scientific questions or problems, our perspectives can quickly become stale and progress suffers. I am grateful for the opportunity that this fellowship has granted me to take a risk, build a novel instrument, and find ways to apply it to meaningful scientific questions. The experience I have gained in both designing, constructing, and applying a new instrument while also managing real-world considerations such as the budget, scope, and realistic deliverables of the project will be invaluable to me in my future career. I hope to live up to Dr. Beckman's name and continue to innovate in chemical instrumentation and provide the tools needed to push chemical science forward. My journey as an Arnold O. Beckman Postdoctoral Fellow originates from my previous experience with an analytical tool that I had really become quite fond of. Charge detection mass spectrometry, or CDMS, is an emerging technique in mass spectrometry that, unlike other conventional mass spectrometry methods, has the ability to weigh very heavy molecules. While heavy molecules is somewhat of an oxymoron, the analytical challenge is real. Some analytes are simply too big for conventional MS instruments, but still far too small to be weighed using conventional mass measurement apparatus. Good luck weighing a singular virus capsid on your bathroom scale. However, not unlike a bathroom scale, CDMS is designed to weigh things one by one, each and every ion that enters the detector. This is not always easy as individual ions generate small signals. My PhD research was centered around building CDMS tools and developing uses for the technology. However, one obstacle for CDMS became quickly obvious to me. It was slow. Weighing ions one by one was very time-consuming, with experiments sometimes taking hours. When the opportunity to apply as an Arnold O. Beckman Postdoctoral Fellow in Chemical Instrumentation was brought to my attention, I knew what I wanted to propose. I wanted speed. So speed is exactly what I proposed, and thankfully I was given the opportunity to build it. Here, SPEED stands for Sequential Pass Express Charge Detection. I had to take a small liberty with the acronym, but it was too good of a name to pass up. The originally proposed design is shown here. A simple set of ion-guiding optics takes ions from where they are generated at the inlet and accelerates them through the speed analyzer, which, unlike any other state-of-the-art CDMS instrumentation, does not trap ions and bounce them back and forth to get an accurate measurement. Trapping is the time-consuming step that was making CDMS so slow, so I decided to get around that by just putting a series of detectors in a row. This is the sequential pass part of speed. This allows us to continuously stream ions through the detector, and we can do that at a very high speed. Our original design called for a trap to be situated after the speed analyzer to verify our measurements, but we quickly realized this wasn't worth the effort, especially since we already had an existing CDMS instrument in Evan's lab that I could accomplish the same goal with. With that settled, speed went from an idea to a real design. Dr. Randy Petter at Ardar Technologies was crucial in helping me take this step and provided the engineering and machining support required to produce all the different pieces. Finally, speed went from a design to a reality. These are pictures of the assembled speed detector array, and here I am working with Zach Miller, one of my graduate student mentees, to assemble our new instrument. After assembling the instrument, of course, it did not work. A few months of fixing vacuum leaks, correcting alignment issues, and realizing that a single wire was mistakenly soldered later, it did work. Here is a brief video taken shortly after the instrument came online. A simple asthma nebulizer is generating small droplets containing analyte nanoparticles. Casey Chen, another one of my graduate student mentees, is here along with Zach and is aiming the aerosols into the speed analyzer. And there they are. Voila. Each of these individual traces in the oscilloscope corresponds to an individual ion. And I was so proud in this moment to see all of our work come to fruition. But the job wasn't done. While acquiring ion signals was great, those spiky waveforms didn't necessarily resemble a mass measurement. There was plenty of work to do. I spent a great deal of time working on the software and hardware tools necessary to digitize and then analyze each one of these little wave packets that correspond to individual ions. I developed a novel signals analysis method using something called short-time Fourier transforms, shown here, that made it possible to extract the physical properties I was interested in, namely the ion mass and charge. And because speed wouldn't really be speedy if processing the data took forever, I also parallelized the execution of the analysis code such that mass and charge information for analyzed ions could be plotted in real time. And now we have reached acquisition speeds of several hundred ions per second. Speed really has lived up to its name. But what are new tools without useful applications? Hammers without nails are not particularly useful. Throughout the design, construction, and development process of speed, I also took time to validate the usefulness of CDMS technology through several different projects and collaborations. While I still think we have only begun to scratch the surface of CDMS applications, we were able to publish 12 CDMS-centric scientific journal articles during my fellowship tenure. We even found our way onto the cover pages of 4 very different high-impact journals, which demonstrates the broad applicability of CDMS. I've watched with interest as the interest in CDMS has grown exponentially in recent years, and I'm excited to see the new frontiers that are being explored because of new instrumentation that I had a part in developing. Of course, my scientific journey would have halted a long time ago if it were not for the many people who have supported and mentored me along the way. I'm grateful that through this fellowship I've had the opportunity to start helping others along their scientific careers as well. There are too many names to mention, but I would make particular note of my mentor, Professor Evan Williams. We have worked together for a long time now, but I'm still learning new things from him. His enthusiastic support throughout the duration of the fellowship and even before when he encouraged me to apply has been invaluable. I am also particularly grateful to the Arnold and Mabel Beckman Foundation and everyone who works there. I've never had an unpleasant interaction with the foundation, and thanks to the yearly symposia, I was also able to find a new friend, collaborator, and co-author in Dr. Tracy Schlemmer, another recipient of the Arnold O. Beckman Postdoctoral Fellowship. Certainly our paths would have never crossed except for the Foundation's willingness to support young scientists across the whole of the chemical sciences. I am honored to be called an Arnold O. Beckman Postdoctoral Fellow, and I'm excited to carry the experience I have gained from this fellowship into my future career as an independent scientist and innovator.